Hello everybody, welcome back to Stan's Garage, coming at you with everything you need to know for effective business IT management. Today I'm going to talk about recent reports of cyber liability policies getting increasingly difficult to obtain, coverage being reduced, and overall cost increasing. As ransomware losses continue to climb, insurers are reducing and even going so far as to abandon their ransomware policies altogether. Insurance companies have cut the amount of cyber coverage they provide to consumers by half after the pandemic. But the rise in home-based work has fueled an increase in ransomware assaults. Not a great combination for you business owners. So I'll let you in on a little bit of a secret. Insurers aren't exactly on your side. They wrote those policies back when cybercrime was a far less frequent thing, but your enterprise hacking gangs done found a nice little windfall paid off by insurance and ran with it. Now we find ourselves here, with insurance companies racing to cut their losses. Increased premiums from major European and American insurers and syndicates active in the Lloyd's of London insurance market are now going to cover ransoms, restorations from being hacked, business disruption losses, and even PR expenses for repairing harm incurred as a result of a cybercrime. However, insurers are concerned about the surge in ransomware attacks and the increasing expertise of hackers, which has given them cause to be wary. In some cases, even if a potential victim does not have a policy, attackers may still investigate to determine if they are more likely to pay out. They're getting pretty sophisticated out there. Casper Stops, the head of cyber insurance at the insurance company Optio, issued a warning that insurers are altering their appetites, limitations, coverages, and cost in response to the threat. Limits have been slashed. Where people were offering $10 million, nearly everyone has reduced their offer to $5 million or lower. So they're really cutting the coverage on these payouts. In short, the last thing insurers really want to ever do is pay out a claim. Let's face it. Now that they're seeing more losses due to cybercrime, they're changing how they handle this type of coverage. In 2017, Lloyd's of London, they control about a fifth of the global cyber insurance market, discouraged its more than 100 syndicate members from taking on cyber risks, according to industry sources. Despite repeated requests for information, Lloyd's is keeping mum on the subject. Also back in August of this year, AIG indicated that it would be relaxing its cyber restrictions. So they're going to be doing a little less coverage as well. Cyber criminals use ransomware to encrypt the data on their victims' devices. And in exchange for ransom payment in cryptocurrency most often, the hackers promise to decode the data on their behalf. The result has been a shift in the focus from stealing data and selling it. They're using this type of attack instead. But that doesn't mean they won't do both. Notable, right? Anyway. Approximately almost $600 million in ransomware payments were made in the first 6 months of this year, compared to just over $400 million the year prior. That's a lot of money right there. No wonder insurers are looking to cut back this kind of coverage. So after a ransomware attack on the Colonial Pipeline back in May, they were forced to shut down several days at a time. It's a big payoff. You can check out my video on that if you want to find out more. According to insurance company Aon, the profitability of cyber insurers in the United States is going to decline in 2020 and probably more so in 2021. And that's why these cutbacks are really happening. Another way of putting it is that the combined ratio is down to about 95.4%. And that means of the premiums they collect, 95% get paid out. They want that number much, much lower. Companies are underinsured basically, and companies are straining to keep up with the pace. The insurance companies are. Customer limits are probably going to decrease, at best stay the same at a higher rate. And given all those limitations, these insurers do not want to be paying out like this. So RPS, a cyber liability insurance broker in the US, reported that insurers who supplied $5 million in liability coverage last year had decreased their limits to between $1 and $3 million in 2021. So shrinkflation is not just happening at the grocery store. Earlier this month, an EU review concluded that the COVID-19 pandemic and the growth of home-based labor had facilitated growth in cybercrime globally. Cybersecurity firm Coveware predicts that in 2021, ransomware attacks would have a profit margin of 90% or more. 90% or more. I don't know what business gives you that. No wonder attacks are on the rise. Hackers were once renowned for employing methods such as sending out a bunch of phishing emails, but they are now more focused on specific businesses and reviewing balance sheets, according to the FBI. These guys are really getting sophisticated, and you got to watch out. Reinsurance broker Acrisure said that attacks were migrating from healthcare and municipalities, which might have weak IT controls but also limited finances, and they're moving more towards industrial and logistical enterprises. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, they're going to where they believe the best returns are, but that doesn't mean you as a business owner or cybersecurity professional shouldn't be putting up the best possible defenses and methods of mitigating this sort of attack. You know, the outages while you patch and repair everything could be devastating, right? And also, probably a good idea, don't let it be known how much insurance coverage you have, because these guys are watching. They're looking at balance sheets, they're looking at assets, and they want to know that they're going to go after people who are going to have the coverage to pay them out, right? And all of this, of course, is leading to an increase in premiums. And we're looking at an average rate increase like of 73%. And you know, for some small businesses, that could be a real killer. And we've seen as much as 300% increases across certain industries. So you got to watch out. Some of the increased payoffs, if they're finding that you weren't putting in good cybersecurity controls, they're making you pay half or even all of the ransom in those cases, which is rough. And right now it's the US and France actually are putting up the best support for breaking out and catching some of these ransomware gangs and preventing their local municipalities from making those payments. So the insurance sector is also saying, you know, if you do get hit, no matter how much they fight it, you're going to have to pay out, because the alternative is likely going to be going out of business. Now, no one likes to fork over money to these cyber crooks, but both small business and the insurers know that this is simply the cost of doing business, you know, and what can you do, right? And so while nothing is 100%, the best way to avoid having to use your cybersecurity policy is to employ sound information security practices. If that's something you know you need to do for your business, feel free to book a consultation via a link in the show notes below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.